And welcome to another episode of Sessions with Stef. I love doing this podcast, something new that I started. I believe it's my 6th or 7th podcast, and I'm having a blast. It's a musical podcast where I sit down, chat with buddies, friends, have a good time doing it. We talk about the music business. We talk about their experiences. We talk about, music. It could be playing an instrument, could be singing, could be anything. I enjoy doing it, and I have some good laughs. I get to talk to people that I've probably known for who knows how many years, but never had a chance to chat like this. I get to, talk about stories and their inspirations and all kinds of stuff, and it's a lot of fun for me. I do this in collaboration with JJR Studios. Our producer, Louis, is here. We have Lisa. I believe she's on the mic as well. Are you? Oh, I don't hear her. Hold on. She's coming. Is she? That's intentional. There it is. It was intentional.
The voice.
Now it sounds okay. Now we hear you, Lisa.
Yeah, laugh it.
This is a different dimension to Sessions with Stef. We got
a heavenly voice.
We have the heavenly voice
from the skies.
We have Luigi on cameras and our producer Luis from JJR. Guys, also check out Likumbari. We have some skits on there. We have episodes that we do. And there's my sister podcast, which is Talk It Out, every second week. Guys, follow us on YouTube, Likumbari. We're on Amazon Music, Spotify. We're on Apple Music and Apple Podcasts, of course. So this week, something special. It's always a blast. Another good friend of mine. I love him. He's a super guy. I'm going to introduce him as, of course, a piano player, a piano teacher. He's also an arranger, a composer. He's a producer as well. He's a genius in the studio. Guys, I welcome you, Arden Arapyan. Arapyan. I always get it wrong. My God, Arapyan.
Yeah, you can call me what you usually call me.
Let's break the ice.
All right.
So one day he's
Happy
like,
to be here.
he's like, welcome to the show. First of all,
thank you.
I've been dying to do this one for a while. So we have nicknames for each other. And I don't know what possessed you for that one.
Did I come up with yours
You
first?
came up with mine. You came up with, let's hear it.
Gloria Stefano.
There you go. That's my nickname.
And what's mine?
And I had to come up with something. I had a few minutes. I got to come up with something. And it's Ardenio Hall.
Hey!
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
I just dated myself.
We all know what it is. That's the sad part. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying, guys, monster piano player. He's the man. We've played together. We have a project that we played together. I love playing with this guy. He's also a band leader. When we play, he conducts the band. It's a lot of fun playing with you.
It's a lot of fun to play.
Like I said, he's a teacher, composer, arranger. Take a couple of minutes. Explain all the things that you do, your job, let's say, as a teacher. Of course, we know what teacher and a piano player is.
Sure.
But all the rest, what is it? Break it down.
Anytime somebody asks me that question, I remind them that basically being a musician involves many different jobs. But you can pretty much break it down to 4 categories, I can say, which is performing.
Yeah.
Whether that's, you mentioned that I'm a piano player. I am it's my principal instrument. I did my studies at school and university on piano and jazz performance. I also play the guitar. And electric bass, and I picked up a flute recently.
Just as a side thing.
Yeah, no, but it's a lot of, because you know what? I realized that, okay, just a little parentheses. I did a concert a few years ago. It was an oratorio that an Armenian composer had written for a journalist who lived in Istanbul in Turkey, who was assassinated, because you can imagine that there's some political tension there.
Okay.
He was the kind of guy that spoke his mind, and so it got him killed. And so we were performing this oratorio, and the composer had a whole orchestra with a conductor and everything. A whole bunch of violins, and he had specifically asked to have me play the piano, which was humbling for me. It was really nice. I was humbled by that. But the thing is that I had never played with an orchestra. I had never played under a conductor's baton before, ever.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I've played in jazz bands, and there's a
Yeah.
conductor, and when I was in university, especially in big bands and things, all that I've done. But I'd never actually played this kind of. It's basically a classical concert, and with a conductor, I mean, I gained
Is that
like
intimidating?
dude, I gained like 20 years of experience in those first 2 hours of the first rehearsal. In fact, in the first 2 minutes, I learned a really important lesson because the conductor was like, okay, everybody's this and that. And when a conductor does this for me, like, boom, that means for me, like, play now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever noticed in conducting classical music, a lot of times the conductor seems to be ahead of the music.
Yeah.
But basically what that is, sorry, I'm going on this.
No,
but,
it's great.
I've learned that what it is basically, it's not that he or she, in this case it was a she, is telling you to play now. It's more like when the inctus of the baton comes down, it's the moment where you get the permission to entamer le mouvement, to begin the movement.
Okay.
So when there's strings involved, they
Okay.
and when there's winds involved, there's breath involved.
And is that the
It's the command to begin the movement.
Okay.
So a lot of times it kind of, and the piano, being a percussive instrument, is the opposite because it sounds the loudest at the moment of playing, and then immediately the sound dips off, right? Tang.
Gotcha.
So when you get that, it's not tang, it's tang.
Oh wow. Okay. So
the first downbeat, she went like this, and I'm like, I had the very first note. It started with a piano solo, so she's like, tang, and she's like, whoa, and she looked at me, and I was like,
is it like the movie Whiplash? Have you seen the movie?
I hated that movie.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I hated that movie because, just in a few words, it's almost like the movie was accidentally made about music when it should have been about sports.
You know what? You're right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's totally not how music, the teaching music education. It doesn't work that way. It's super dramatized to make.
It's
a movie
Hollywood.
And,
it's Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Anyways, okay, so performing, which I love to do. Writing.
Yeah.
Involving composing, arranging, and this kind of stuff. Recording, which the production aspect kind of touches upon the writing and the recording.
Yeah, it's a mix of both.
It's kind of a mix of both because you could be a session recording musician that gets called to play other people's music, and that happens to me. And sometimes I'm producing it, so I do the pre-production at home, I do the writing, and then you move on to the recording. And education, teaching. Yeah. So in 4 words, performing, recording, writing, and teaching.
Okay.
And I have the great fortune that personally I love to do all 4 of these things. Whereas some musicians, they prefer one and they don't really like to do the other. Some people, they don't feel like going through the whole performing thing. They don't trip on it. A lot of people love to perform.
Sure.
Some people, they don't know how to teach and they don't have the patience for it, so they'll focus on something else. I'm fortunate that I love to do all 4 of them.
I actually noticed that. I've seen you in all aspects of it, and it's great to see you. Whatever you do, you enjoy, and that brings out your music. It brings out
absolutely
what you do.
And out of the 4, teaching leaves a legacy because you're teaching people, and then they're becoming greater musicians, and eventually they might become teachers. Just like I had a teacher before me, and he had a teacher before him. It's very rewarding. Performing is very rewarding when you see the effect that it has on people, definitely. But the thing that it's, for me, the most important part of my career as a musician is definitely between the writing and the recording aspect, especially when you produce something, you make something, you stamp your name on it, and that stays until the end of time. We're here today, someday we're not going to be here anymore. Yeah. So you've left behind something for people to enjoy for generations, and I mean, in theory, until the end of time, literally, Awesome. So it's a very stressful job.
Of course.
Production, because it's not only musicianship, but especially when you're the producer or you're the musical director, which often I am. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of management.
Of course.
People, resources,
hardest part.
Time. Yeah. So it's very stressful to, you have a certain deadline. You have to send in a recording to LA by Friday noon. And then you're like, okay, you try to book your musicians. Great, they're available. You go to book the studio. I'm available on Wednesday, but not on Thursday. And then you start pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
It's very stressful. But when everything is done, you have the product in your hands. There's nothing more rewarding than that.
Because you know the stress that you went through to get it done.
Absolutely. And then when it sounds the best that you know that you could have done. And I'm very demanding. I'm very demanding in the studio. Anybody who's recording with me knows this.
I can imagine.
And it's I'm very demanding, and so I got a nickname. I don't know if I've ever told you this. You know what they call me in studio?
No, what is it?
Ardenini.
Ardenini.
I'm going to explain to you why. Have you ever heard of the Italian conductor Arturo Toscanini? Arturo Toscanini is like end of 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. So he actually conducted some of the premieres of Puccini's last operas.
Okay.
He was much younger than Puccini, so he lived, he lived many years after him. But let's say like when Puccini was at the end of his composing career and his life, a young Arturo Toscanini was already conducting the premieres of some of his operas. And there's recordings of him. If you go on YouTube and like Arturo Toscanini rips into the New York Philharmonic or whatever, this guy is laying
hard
into
ass.
them. Oh man, it's like half in Italian, half in English. It's like, oh, shorta nota, quarta nota, contrabassi, and he's freaking out, he's destroying them. And meanwhile, he's not talking to students, man. He's talking to the best musicians in the world. Like, what are you doing, dude? So I don't yell at them, but I'm very demanding in the studio.
Well, you're. I've seen you in action as a band leader as well.
Live, yeah.
You're. That one note makes a difference.
Absolutely.
If you hear that one instrument out of 10 that are saying, like you hear something that's slightly off, you're going to stop the rehearsal and you're going to say,
you didn't come in there. You dragged. You came in late or
you got to do it.
Rushing.
And it's important.
Of course, especially like live, of course. But in recording, bottom line, the final take has to be, on par.
On point, yeah.
So one time we were recording in studio, and the studio engineer's at the computer. I'm in the booth right behind him. The musicians in the recording booth. And that day he happened, the studio engineer owner, he happened to have a guy doing like a stage, okay? A young guy that's learning the ropes and whatever, And then the musician was playing a note. And I stopped him and I said, can you do that again? And I'm like, you dragged it a little bit. And then he plays a note and I'm like, it's a little sharp, And the singer, the studio engineer, the stagiaire guy, yeah. Everybody's like, Arden, it sounds like right on. You're hearing stuff, So the guy at the computer, he's like, he opens up the pitch software. File. Man, the note was like, did I say sharp or flat? I don't remember which it was, but it was just slightly off the thing. And then I don't want to sound like
you're bragging,
this literally happened. The stagiaire guy is like, he leaned down into the studio guy's ear. He's like, bro, this guy has laser ears. Laser ears. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Like I said, I've seen it firsthand. There's 10 musicians in a little room and the horns are playing and we're playing a tune and
everybody's job is essential.
Hey, whatever, sax, you were a bit off on that one note. That my God, my ears are ringing from the cowbells,
Right.
But you heard that note and it's all in the details. And you've got that covered. Definitely. Now, another thing
I always say, and I say this and I say the opposite as well. Anytime we talk about something that I am pretty good at, écoute, j'ai 10 000 défauts, mais ça, c'en est pas une. I have 10,000 defects, yeah, but that's not one of them. And anytime somebody says, Arden, come on, pull it together, this or that, like my parents, if they're railing on me, come on, you need to be more on top of this and that, I'll be like, listen, j'ai 10 000 qualités, mais ça, c'en est pas une.
That's not one of them.
I've got 10,000, strong points, but listen,
that's not one of them.
You can't be good at everything.
Exactly. Right? No one's perfect. Close.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Some people get pretty close.
Some people. I was going to say us, but whatever. I mean, I'm going to brag a bit. No, I'm joking. I'm so joking. Another thing we can talk about that's close to perfect. Dude, you're a wizard in languages.
I love languages. I love languages.
I had a conversation with you in Italian.
Yeah.
So your background, you were born into an Armenian family.
I'm born here in Montreal.
But
ethnically Armenian background.
You speak Spanish with the best of them. I see you talking to Cubans. So I understand Spanish and I can kind of talk it. I kill it, but I understand it and I can kind of speak it. Our producer, he does. He has no, you don't know Spanish. But, and I see you're with the Cubans when they talk, if I'll say hola, they just pull all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
And they don't say hola. They'll be like, hola.
I have no idea what they're talking about, and you're right in there.
And I learned late. I started learning Spanish late. I have no Latin American or Hispanic background at all. It's just something that attracted me at the end of, let's say, when I was in CEGEP, and then when I got into first year university, and when I was in university, I just developed a very deep admiration and a love for Latin American music and Hispanic music,
Which we're going to talk about.
Sure. And it's just something that attracted me so much. So as the years went by, I started learning to speak it. And at first I didn't, right? And I swear, Stefano, I stayed quiet for 3 years. Nobody heard me speak a word of Spanish.
Wow.
I would practice at home when I'm alone.
Really?
And if anybody wants to learn how to speak a language, take this from me, because I started learning Spanish after 20, like let's say when I was 21 or 22, when I really started speaking it, which is pretty late in life. A great way to pick it. And now I speak it fluently. Like if I can go to Cuba and like pull out a couple of sentences and convince the locals that I might be Cuban, you know?
Yeah.
So something that's really helpful for practicing languages is narrating your life. You can do it out loud if you're alone, because you can look a bit freaky if there's people around. But you can do it in your mind, you know. It's like, ¿sabes qué? Tengo ganas de tomarme un café. Me voy a preparar un café entonces, you know. So you'll just narrate your life, and it forces you to use the different verb tenses. And if you don't know a word, boom, go to translate, pick it up, get computer, phone, whatever, look it up, say it 10, 15 times, make that be the word of the day, and then 50 days later you have like 50 or.
And everyone always says watch a show in this.
Yeah, but it's not enough unless you're creating.
You got to practice. You got to create. You're right.
You can only do that once you're able to formulate sentences. So at the beginning, watching the movie in the foreign language is definitely helpful. But in order for you to master it, you got to create the sentences.
And since we're on the Spanish topic, this is where we met.
Sure.
I found a love for Latin music, salsa, merengue, all of that Latin music. I love it. We ended up playing in a band together.
Many times.
Many times. Years. And I mean, is this your go-to music?
No, I can't say go-to music. It's definitely one of my deepest, greatest loves. Latin music, salsa, and all the styles that are attached to salsa. Because when you say salsa, it doesn't really mean, it just means sauce.
Yeah.
So literally, so it just kind of, it's like an umbrella term that englobes like many different specific styles of Latin American music. But yeah, that's definitely something that I love. I play a lot of Armenian music since I'm Armenian. So I played like Armenian pop music. I've played guitar in an Armenian band for many years. Since I was very young, I joined this band. I was 17. And the previous baby of the band was 22 at the time. So I became the baby.
Yeah.
And the other 3 members were like 29, 30, and 31. So I'm 17 in a band with a 31-year-old.
I know what you mean.
I got the initiation pretty hard.
I got you, especially in that style of music.
Of course. And it's like, they're your big brother. They take care of you. I love them so much. And I was so lucky that they loved me so much. But, you know, it's a brotherly thing. And what happens with your brothers and sisters is that, you love each other and you always have each other's back. But anytime the chance comes up, you just rail it. Of course. And you're the youngest one in the band. You arrive at the hotel. Everybody's tired. Arden, go get the ice.
You're the drums are in my car. Here are the keys.
That's it. Yeah, go get the ice. Go bring the thing, and
Well, I want to add a little something to this podcast right now.
Sure.
We have a monster piano player here, guys. Arden, can you play us a tune?
Okay.
We're talking about, I don't know what you're going to play.
Okay.
But I don't know, feel free. I have a feeling there's going to be some little Latin flavor to it.
Yeah, I mean, since you and I, we kind of met through that world, I figured that it would be appropriate to play something like that. It's a melody that I love so much that the very first time that I heard it, it was on a Tito Puente live recording, a video.
The master.
From Montreal Jazz Festival, 1982.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
82.
Very young Michel Camilo on piano.
No.
He's like 22 or something.
Ah, dude, I didn't know that.
Mario Rivera on flute and on saxophone. I forget all the players. What's his name? The conga player that is like a master trumpet player. Say that again? No. It's a conga player that is also he's known as a trumpet player. Right. He's also a trumpet player. They're 2 brothers. No.
That was the show, was Tito Puente.
No, Tito Puente was the main percussionist, the timbal player. I forget his name. I'll remember it later. Gonzalez.
You know what? And it's funny because Tito Puente got me into the scene, but it was part of one of the first shows that blew me away. I had just started listening.
You saw him live?
I saw him live, yeah.
Wow.
And you know who was there? Steve Winwood. You know the guitar player?
I've heard of him.
Higher
I'm
Love.
not very familiar. Okay.
He's like a pop dude.
Sure.
He was on
He's a
stage
singer
with
also,
them.
huh?
Yeah, he's a singer,
Yeah, yeah,
guitar
yeah.
player, and
Right.
Horacio was playing. It was at Metropolis. I'll never
Okay.
forget that night.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And you know,
love-
I think Joey Armando was opening up back
Amazing.
then. Yeah, I was like, I don't know,
Amazing.
19, 20 years old. I'm like, I thought, you know, Joey Armando. I love the guy. He's a great guy, but
Shit.
it's you know,
He's a showman.
He's a
He's kind of like Montreal's Tito Puente.
that's what I thought.
That's what he is.
exactly when I saw the show. I didn't know him back then.
Sure.
I was like, oh my god, this is the Montreal Tito Puente. He's the next up and comer kind of
he
thing.
would, he would probably describe himself as such.
As that.
Sure. Jerry Gonzalez. That's his
There
name.
you go, Jerry Gonzalez.
Great
Okay.
trumpet player, jazz trumpet player.
Okay.
That he's playing congas and he's very young in this
Jesus.
recording. The late Jerry Gonzalez he passed away a few years ago. So did Tito Puente. So did Mario Rivera. So a lot of these guys are gone now. But yeah, it's something that I heard in this DVD that my friend had lent me, and I thought it was such a beautiful melody. I'm gonna play it for you guys
Please.
because we have played it together.
Okay.
One time we had a gig in trio. It was you, me, and a bass player.
Oh yeah,
And
the
we-
hotel gig there.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like a convention of something.
That's
sort.
right.
We played this piece, and you know what, Steph? When you asked me to play, I'm gonna be honest. I was a bit nervous.
You're nervous?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I mean, not only, dude, this is super chill, you know,
Yeah.
but like, I have to play. And I did a few gigs recently because I mean a lot of our gigs got canceled because
Yeah.
of COVID and the
Uh-huh.
lockdown and whatever. Did a few virtual concerts, Place des Arts, Maison de la Culture,
Yeah.
where it was just the band and the techs and no live
no
audience,
sound. Yeah.
which is so weird. You finished playing a piece and it's absolute
Dead
silence,
silence,
like
yeah.
so strange,
Yeah, definitely.
you know. And obviously much less frequent than we're used to.
Yeah, true.
I realized, oh my god, I'm out of shape, man.
Dude.
I'm terribly out of shape. Some guys during the lockdown, they're like, oh, boom, okay, I'm home. They're practicing hours a day. I
I had a
wasn't
wedding
my
last
case.
Saturday.
Yeah,
I felt like I got hit by a train.
yeah,
The-
yeah.
You know, they're marathons.
Sure,
Dude,
sure.
I
your
like
stamina's
Sunday,
slow.
I was like, what just hit me, man? That was
Absolutely.
that was
Absolutely.
awesome.
And also, like, because my mind is still working at the same speed, but like my hands are not responding. You know, like, come on,
What
bro.
is happening?
I said blah blah blah. You know,
I know. Look, Lisa, he's gonna serenade you on the piano.
Oh, nice.
Yes, he's
I
gonna
can't
serenade you.
wait.
What's the name of the song?
The name of the song is Maria Cervantes
Maria Cervantes.
by a composer named Noro Morales.
Love the song.
And I'm not sure if he's Cuban or Puerto Rican. He's one of the two. I should have looked this up before coming here, but I forgot. You know. So yeah, I'll play that, and then we'll talk some more about that.
Take it away.
Sounds good.
I'm also gonna show Arden's CD right now. We'll talk about it later, but
Sure.
so it's called Vahak.
Vahak.
Vahak, guys, you can always get in touch with Arden.
Yep.
You know, I'm sure he'll sell you a copy.
You can you can find me on Facebook and whatnot. So
Yeah, we're gonna go through the socials
Sure.
as well, but you got the CD here. You're gonna hear him play right now. You'll see what he can do. You're gonna want his CD.
the title has a story behind it too.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll talk about that for sure.
Sure. All right. Let me
So I'm gonna kill some time talking. Lisa,
Yes.
doesn't this interest you?
Yes.
It's
and
it's a different podcast than the other ones. We've had like rock musicians, we've had bass players, then of course singer songwriters, but just the instrumentalist, the piano player, and the guy who
this is an ambiance moment. And I do actually have a question once you're done playing piano.
Sweet. So once again, the song is called Maria Cervantes, and again, it's Arden Arapyan. I got that one this time. Yes. Wow. Oh, that last chord just hit me. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, wow. Finally. Wow, Lisa, what do you think?
Wow, that just like blew my socks off. As you can see, I'm not wearing any.
And you were wearing some a second ago.
I
Yeah,
was.
I saw them too,
You
yeah.
see, I was. But I do have a specific question for you based on the music that we just heard. That was just enthralling.
Thank you.
And my question is, what is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Holy
It
shit.
is. It is. And,
Oh my, it's all...
and it's hard to answer because what is it about music that gives me that passion? It's the music.
Yeah.
It's the music, and you know what it is also? It's the stories behind the music, some of which you know, some of which you don't even know, but they're loaded in the compositions, in the music. Somebody fell in love on that song. Somebody's father's favorite song was that song, and then after, maybe if they pass away or their grandfather, like that, it reminds them of this ancestor that they had, or their, so many stories behind every music. So it's the passion is contained in the music itself, which is amazing, which is something that's amazing about music.
So what is it about a song, or let's say a musical composition, that brought out that passion in you? What was the driving force?
What made me want to become a musician? Can I reformulate that question this way?
Sure.
Well, I started. I guess you could. Some people might say young, because a lot of people do start like later on, but not that young, because a lot of kids start very, very young. A lot of people that go on to become professional musicians, especially classical musicians. A lot of them, they start at like 4 or 5. They pick up a violin. I was not that young. I was around 11 when I started playing. Let's say late 11, close to 12. And it's actually like, it's funny. Like, we would get together with various family friends. A few families, like my parents and their best friends and the other friends and the cousins, and then the kids, we would hang out together and we would play together. And if we were in the other room, and one of them, my dad loves to sing. And he used to sing in a band when he was like 17 or something, and one of the fathers in this group, one of my dad's friends, plays the keyboard, and he's the kind of guy that, like a one-man show kind of, he has this keyboard where it contains the beats and the this and the different keyboard sounds of various instruments. And he would kind of like play the keyboard, and then my dad would sing, or actually they would all kind of like join in and sing together. As soon as I would hear that, it was like a magnet for me, I would leave what I was doing. If I was playing a game with the other kids and stuff, I would just go and sit next to him and just watch and be like, I want that. I want to do that, And I was really young. Like, you're going to let an 11-year-old kid touch your expensive instrument, but the man he knew that I had respect for that instrument. And so he would, whenever they would be done and they would go back to the dining room or whatever to chill or to play cards or to, whatever, to continue their evening, I would be there alone on the keyboard and I would try to figure stuff out. Sometimes he would show me certain things, And now this man is one of my biggest fans, because he knows that I started playing at his side. That's when I fell in love with music, is by watching him play.
Oh, nice.
Lisa, do you want me to freak you out a bit?
Okay, freak me.
You just saw him playing, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is something I've never seen him in action, but because I know you are a very well-trained actress as well, Arden has been part of many plays.
Yes.
He's also been in movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he's actually, this freaked me out, he's acted in a play that he composed the music.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
And he won an award. So not only can he do what he just did, but he's also like a master in the acting world.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's so much fun. I'm an amateur actor. Except if you consider, he said, movies, like I haven't played roles in movies. I was a figurant. How do you say that?
You weren't
Extra.
the Batman?
Extra.
You weren't the Batman in the...
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, of course, yeah, because, well, you didn't recognize me. Because
That's right. I thought...
No, I've done some extra work in some
Yeah.
movies. I was an Austrian soldier in World War I.
Oh, sweet.
Yep. And I got a close up in that actually. There was a scene where we had to be kind of like exasperated, sitting in the trenches and exhausted and all dirty and stuff. Meanwhile, it's not even it's makeup. It's super clean. You know what I mean? You just washes right off, but you look like you
You
just
become
covered
the
in
role,
dirt.
exactly.
And in that moment, there was a scene where the mailman passes through the trenches and he hands
Steph,
out.
what were you doing there?
Yes, the mailman.
So, yeah. So he passes out like the letters for the different soldiers, and then he's like, I don't know, Wagner, Weitzinger. I'm just making up names, you know, whatever, like these German names, Austrian names, and then you have to kind of be like, who? No, man, he didn't make it. You know, he died yesterday. You know, or
No.
sort of thing. Like you have to get in that mood, you know, or you're thinking about your wife and kids back home. I'm neither married nor a father, but like, you know, you kind of you become a certain character. So I've done a bit of that. I was a lawyer once in a law firm.
I see that.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, I was me and 50 other lawyers were like a law firm.
You stood up.
I hope so. I don't know.
Definitely you stood up.
The main character in the movie is a lawyer that just won this huge case, and then the scene is basically the elevator doors open and he walks out and he walks into his law firm and all of us are like, hey, you nailed it, you know, and that's all we had to do.
You won an award, I believe, right?
Okay, yeah, that's
That
because
covers
theater, as a theater actor, I've done some plays, mostly in Armenian. So I played a few roles, and one of them was I played the protagonist's role.
Oh, nice.
And it's a piece that's very few actors. You know, some plays that have big casts. This one is a very small cast. It's essentially 4 people. So it's the protagonist, my role, his wife, the kid, and the narrator, who's like an older gentleman who's telling a story. Let's say like the narrator is taking place whenever he's narrating, it's the present, and he's telling a story of what took place. Because my character and the wife and the kid, we lived in the play takes place over the period of, let's say, 1921 to 1933 or 30, something like that, which we're survivors of the Armenian genocide. And my character is a young man, maybe in his early 30s or late 20s. He wants to start a family. He lost his whole family. He wants to start a family, so he basically gets a mail order bride. Where this is a true story. Like, I mean, it's not a true story; it's a fictional story. But this happened to a lot of people, where they would order a bride from an orphanage that would come from Constantinople. You know, that also lost her family. That she's an orphan, and how old is she? 14, 15? Boom, good enough. You know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then it's like. So if you say that in the context of today, it sounds like child trafficking, basically. But at the time, no, you were essentially saving that person's life by agreeing to marry them. And do you have a job? You have an income? You can support her? You can, yes, okay, boom. So she comes, and they have a lot of trouble conceiving a kid. He blames it on the woman, and eventually she snaps. But in reality, think about it. I mean, it might not be because of her. It might be because of it. You don't know that.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean? You don't know that. They didn't have the technology for that at the time. You always blame the woman.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
also,
what I say.
Yeah, but also because she suffered starvation. And obviously that doesn't help for, you know, conceiving a kid. That's if you've been through starvation, you might have issues with that. Anyways, so this is the kind of story. And then they bring this kid, an orphan, off the street, an Italian kid. She brings him into the home. She treats him like her son, like her child. And then my character eventually finds out, because she was doing this behind his back. He finds out, he freaks out, starts like shouting, like, what are you doing? Bringing his kids off the street, blah, blah, blah. But with time, he warms up to him, and then eventually they make a family together. And it turns out, it's not really a spoiler because in some places it's the same character the same actor playing both characters. The old man who's the narrator is that kid in present day, telling the story of his father, that his adopted father and mother, you know, basically. And with that play, we did it. It's called Beast on the Moon. It's originally in English by Richard Kalinowski, an American Jewish playwright who was married to an Armenian woman. So he kind of observed the cultural things, you know, which probably have a lot in common also with some Jewish cultural references and things.
Yeah.
The play has won countless awards. It's been translated in, I believe, 16 or 17 different languages.
Nice.
And played all over the place. The French version, they made it in Paris, and Paris is the Hollywood of theater, of the world.
Yeah.
Whatever Hollywood, California is for movies, Paris, France is for theater. So they made a professional production of this. It won that year like 5 or 6 Molière awards, which was the equivalent of like an Oscar, basically.
Yes.
And it did really well. And we actually, I believe our translation was the very first time that it was translated into Western Armenian. Because there's different dialect between Eastern and Western Armenian. It had been done in Eastern Armenian in Armenia, because in Armenia, they speak the Eastern dialect. Whereas like my ancestry is Western Armenian, none of the territory of which exists anymore, unfortunately. But we have a different dialect, and I believe we were the first ones to do it in Western Armenian. And if you think about it, these characters, that would be the dialect that they speak.
Yeah.
You know, the survivors of the genocide, they would be speaking Western Armenian. So I had to become this not an old man. I was playing a young man, but in the 1920s.
Yeah.
So I had to think about some of the mannerisms that my grandfather would have, and like, well, I heard this thing, and then all of a sudden, so this movement is super not.
You can always ask Stefano, though.
Italian.
Yeah.
You can always ask Stefano.
But
You're gonna do the same thing.
watch the distinction. This is Italian.
Yeah.
But the Armenian one has to slide off. It's this.
Because when my father did that, I was running.
No. It's just
He
it's
would look at me going
frustration.
like this. Oh, shit.
No, it's because it's like at the beginning he gets sent the wrong girl, so he's like, I paid plenty of money to the orphanage and they sent me the wrong girl. You know. First time I did that, the director Nancy, she fell in a rehearsal. She fell off her chair. She started cracking up. She's like, "Oh my God, that move you just did! It's so perfect." You know? So it became part of the thing. They took us to Egypt to perform this play.
Oh,
in Armenian.
nice.
Unbelievable experience. Very different, very tiring, very like, imagine, you know?
Yeah.
The decor is not exactly, the costumes we brought with us, but like the props and stuff are different. The table's
Sure,
different.
yeah.
The stage is different. So the coat hanger is not on this side, it's on that side now.
Yeah.
So like it was a bit...
It's a little bit backwards.
They boosted
my
down a
God.
bit, but we did it. It went great. And the following year, which was 2015, which is the centennial commemoration of the genocide, the beginning of the genocide, which was April 24, 1915, we redid the whole play in French, and I had to learn 66 or so pages of dialogue over again in a different language, in French. And the girl playing my wife is a different girl, different actress.
Oh no.
So everything was kind of like so weird, so backwards. And I worked my ass off, you know, on this play, on relearning it, and just, you know. And that's the year that, we were nominated for 3 Arlequin Awards, which is the awards that they give in the FQTA, Fédération Québécoise du Théâtre Amateur. 600, among 600 actors, 60 or something troops all over the province of Quebec. We went to the gala, Gala des Arlequins in Rimouski, I think it was that year. And
They went all out.
yeah, we were nominated. We were nominated I was nominated for Best Actor. The girl playing my wife was nominated for Best Actress, and we were nominated for the Best Production, Best Play.
Very nice.
Wow.
The girl didn't win her prize, but it's amazing. She was nominated. And by the way, she did this in French. This girl is not born here. She's born in Iran. She's a Persian Armenian. She's Armenian, but like many of us come from different countries. She's a Persian Armenian. She only learned to speak like English and French once, like she was already like a young girl, like, but not a kid, baby. Like she had to, you know. So it's pretty impressive already as it is. I did win Best Actor.
Sweet.
And we also won Best Play, Best Production, which is amazing because out of so many nominations, you would think that it's an amateur thing, so they probably want to encourage as many productions as possible. So if they give you the one award, maybe they might not give you the other one. No, they gave us both, you know. So when I was called up as the winner, I was at first very humbled. It was a very emotional moment for me because I've put a lot of myself into this play already when I was doing it in Armenian. And by the way, because it's taking place in the 1920s, Nancy insisted that I actually grow a real huge mustache, the ones that you
I saw
twist.
the pics. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
the
you've probably seen
I
me
saw
a few
the
times.
He was in one.
I-
Yeah.
You know,
I just
And
didn't shave that one.
that was part of my life for like 3 years. Believe me, it's unbelievable. So we're laughing about it now, but it wasn't that funny when I would step out of the shower and I'd be combing my hair and I'd have to twist my mustache and looking in the mirror and not seeing Arden. I'm not seeing
Yeah.
Arden Arapyan. I'm seeing Aram Tomasian. I'm seeing the
Yeah.
role. Not seeing myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and a lot of emotions went into that. You know, so when I won that award, I was like, at first, very humbled. And that lasted about 3 or 5 seconds because I was like, give me that thing. I deserve it. I deserve it. I worked on it. I worked harder for it. So I definitely deserve that award.
Wow,
you know?
that's
Awesome.
amazing. Honestly, like I said, guys, this guy, he does it all. He does it great.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And the one that I wrote the music for, I was on stage at the piano and essentially a statue. And for the first several minutes, some people, they actually thought I was a statue. And then anytime there was a musical interjection, I would play. And then as soon as it might just last a few seconds. It might be just the entrance of da-da-da-da-dum, 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 da-dum-dum-dum-bum.
And then he's back to the statue.
You know, and there was a couple of songs.
That's
actual
at me at a
songs.
wedding when the groom is giving a speech or
Speech.
something. And you know there's all the cameras. And
Yeah,
you're just
yeah. And you're right behind them
You're
most
right
of the
behind
time.
them. I'm in like 100 videos, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's-
That was a lot of fun. And yeah, man, languages is really something that
Sweet.
fascinates me so much. Look, I speak Armenian, obviously. I speak English and French.
You get by in Italian very well.
I am not there yet. Yeah, because it's not still one of the languages that I would say that I master. At this point, I started late, but I do definitely master Spanish. And you know the different accents. Like I learned with Cubans, and then a lot of Colombians and Venezuelans and Mexicans and Chileans and Argentinians and Uruguayans and everything, you know. So you pick it up, and sometimes I might speak differently with Luis. Then I speak with Giovanni. Then I might speak with Pichi or someone, you know.
Yeah.
So
These are all guys we know, by the way.
Right, yeah, from different
I didn't
countries.
know that,
One
Stef.
is Mexican, one is Cuban, one is Colombian or Venezuelan or whatever. Turkish, I was handed Turkish. No, I wasn't. You know what? Nobody taught me Turkish. It was the secret language because the thing is, my parents are from Turkey.
Okay.
Like I said, the girl before, she's Persian Armenian. Well, my parents, they're from Turkey. My father's from Istanbul, from Constantinople, and my mom's from Ankara, the capital. They met here. My brother and I are born here. So Turkish was kind of like the secret language between them. Nobody taught us Turkish. There's no interest in teaching the kids Turkish, to Armenian kids Turkish.
Yeah.
I stole it. I robbed it. I took it.
Like the award. I'm
Yeah,
going.
I took
right?
it, man. I kept my ears open like this my whole life, and I took it. You know,
Sweet.
I'm not amazing at it, but I can definitely get by. I can say that it's a language that I do speak, and then yeah, like you said, I can get. So that's 5.
Yeah.
I can get by in Italian pretty well. Some Portuguese, although it's kind of hard. You start to mix it up with the Spanish and the Italian.
Yeah, that's my life.
My sister-in-law is Portuguese, so some of that. And I worked with some Brazilians also.
I'll tell you what, though.
And you can understand about, depending on what country they're from,
Mhm.
between 10 and 18% of Arabic.
Okay.
I can read it.
Really?
I can read Arabic.
that's
I can
just
read
that.
the letters. I picked it up, Rosetta Stone. But like speaking it is different. Like if it's Lebanese or Syrian, okay. Egyptian is starting to become a little bit foreign to me. And then like Moroccan, Algerian, Tunisian, which is like the Maghrébien,
Yeah.
is much more difficult. It's a completely different way of speaking. So that's a lot harder for me. But I would pick up the
Impressive.
basics, you know?
Very impressive. We're gonna do something a little different now.
Let's do
just
it.
to switch it up.
Let's do it.
This is a game I do. I do it every podcast.
Love games.
It's called First Thought. So I am gonna just blurt out something, and you have seconds to think of your first thought. Some of them are gonna be easy.
Are
Some
there questions?
They're not questions. I'm gonna say something.
Statement, and I have
It
to-
could be a question, or it could be just a statement, and you have to whatever
So,
comes to your mind.
It's
First
like
thought.
it's like a verbal version of that exam that they give you where it's like blotches.
Yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
have to say, oh, a butterfly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? But it comes out funny once in a while.
I'm
Actually,
sure
most
it
of the
does.
time.
I'm sure it does.
First couple are pretty easy. We're gonna start off with, let's say, favorite food.
Lahmacun.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No idea
it's
what that
like
is.
an Armenian pizza kind of thing.
Okay,
It's,
pizza.
Yeah, but no, it's different. It's not. It's
Yeah,
like
I know.
whatever.
You're talking to an Italian. It's pizza.
Yeah, it's pizza. Okay. They call it Armenian pizza. I don't even know why they call it's really not pizza, but it's close enough.
Okay.
So that I don't know, guacamole.
Oh, that of course. Yeah.
Which, by the way, when I make lahmacun,
Uh-huh.
I make a Mediterranean Latino version because I'll put cheese,
Uh-huh.
cucumbers and tomatoes, and guacamole. People are like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "God, you have to try it.
You have to try it.
That's it.
Mhm. So when am I coming over for it?
Anytime.
All right,
You're
now we're
welcome
talking.
Anytime."
This is a good one. Favorite actor?
Al Pacino.
Nice.
No, the one I should have said first, actually. No offense to Al Pacino, he's incredible, obviously, which is the reason why I said him. Peter Sellers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're going.
Peter
nice.
Sellers, and honestly, if you ask me, greatest movie, hands down, without a doubt, the greatest movie of all time is Return of the Pink Panther.
Nice.
And The Shot in the Dark is great also, but not the Pink Panther. The first one was a flop.
Yeah.
Return of the Pink Panther.
Return-
Oh my! I've seen it hundreds of times, several hundreds.
Wow. Okay.
I can recite the dialogue like by heart. You know, it's crazy.
This is a pretty funny one. You got to be quick on your feet on this one.
Okay.
Name me a guilty pleasure that you have.
Oh. Oh man, it's hard. Well, certain foods, that you have to kind of
Like KD or something? Because that would be a guilty pleasure.
You know what? But I got turned off. One time I had it, and that like processed powder
Oh,
cheese.
you tasted the powder? Yeah.
No, it's not that I tested powder, but it just felt so plasticky that
Maybe because it is.
maybe. I haven't had any since then. I have like
Okay.
2 or 3 boxes that they're in my cupboard and they stay there. Okay, whatever. Something like that. Guilty pleasure.
Like a bad movie or I don't know, something, or a cheesy song or something. I don't
Well, I'm gonna go in a completely different. I'm not guilty about it, but it definitely causes a lot of pleasure. I am absolutely obsessed with opera,
know. Okay.
specifically 19th century Italian opera.
Sweet.
I share birthday with Giuseppe Verdi, October 10. He's
The green
born-
guy. Sorry.
It's okay.
Steph, you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, you were there.
I was born.
He's October 10. He's born 1813.
Wow.
But my favorite, he's not even my favorite. I love him. Giacomo Puccini.
Nice.
Oh, this guy, he brings the drama, man. And I love drama. I love drama.
I can tell.
but
He said that with pure.
I love drama. I love the dramatic, the murder and the blackmail and the love
You
triangles.
should live in an Italian house for a couple
No,
of
but
weeks.
wait. The drama must remain on the stage.
Gotcha.
I don't want any of it in my life.
Oh, of course.
No.
Of course.
Actually, one time we were playing at Le Théâtre Jésus, and there was somebody had printed and posted a paper on the wall in backstage. All drama must remain on the stage.
Stage.
And I loved it so much, I just pointed with my huge mustache. I pointed at it like this, with my and to get a picture.
Oh, my
I'll show
God.
it to you later.
All right, here's another question. What's the first thought when I say heavy metal music?
Metallica.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like, dislike?
No, I like them. It's not something that I had a Metallica period when I was younger.
Okay, you did? Because
I
you don't
did.
seem to me like the...
No, it's that. No, you didn't know me at this time.
Okay.
So in high school, I had a Metallica trip. But I wouldn't say that it's something that I would go to. I feel like listening to music. I'll go slap on some Metallica. I don't remember the last time I did that.
Gotcha.
But
My son is asking me to
good.
take him to a Lamb of God concert. I'm
Okay.
like, no. But
I'm not
whatever.
familiar. I don't know. Yeah,
They
sometimes
got to go through that stage,
Sure,
I guess. I don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
All right. This is I'm sure it's pretty, I don't know if it's easy. Best pianist of all time.
Well, okay. Being a jazz pianist, my first answer is Oscar Peterson.
Gotcha.
He's definitely, as a jazz pianist, my biggest influence. Oscar Peterson, and it's besides the point, but it's also an added benefit.
That he's Montreal.
It's a huge pride to know that he's from Montreal. But yeah, that'll be my first answer for sure.
Oscar?
But other than that, like Michel Camilo.
Oh, our
and,
producer wants to say,
Chick
Chick Corea, yeah.
I love Chick Corea. I've had periods of Chick Corea. I met Chick Corea. I've seen him in concert a few months before he passed away, which was pretty recently. And I'm just so happy I didn't miss that concert. And a friend of mine, my friend Eric, was like, "Hey, Arden, he's not even a jazz fan really, but he's an open-minded guy, listens to all kinds of stuff. He's like, hey, Arden, I can get a couple of tickets to Chick Corea's concert. Do you want to go?" I'm like, "Are you
It's
kidding
like,
me?"
what?
Yes.
Sweet.
And I took my friend George. And
have you seen Camilo too?
I have not seen Michel Camilo. Yeah, of course I've seen Michel Camilo live in New York City in Blue Note. Also, our hotel was so close to the Blue Note that Like it was a less than 5-minute walk away.
Oh, sweet.
So I walked to the Blue Note and I was outside. I was about to walk in, and then this guy like walks by me with his wife, and he's not a very tall guy, Michel Camilo.
No, he's very small.
And he's got this very charismatic guy. He's like, "Hey man, very good. Do you mind we go inside? You know the hands. It's the call." So yeah, I'm like, I'll get a picture with him.
I shook his hand, and I saw him live, tete-a-tete with Chucho Valdez.
Oh, amazing.
So I shook both of their hands, right?
Amazing. Chucho Valdez is like
right? Camilo was like this little dude, and then
Chucho Valdez is like three hands in one.
His fingers were like down my arm. I'm like, oh, mother, this guy, man.
Yeah.
And Camilo, when he plays, I think he jumps this much off.
Oh, he's so good, man. I love
and
Michel
he's
Camilo.
jumping.
He's been one of my biggest influences as well.
And Chucho doesn't even have to move. He goes
Chucho
like
is
this,
like-
and that his pinky is like.
It's an engine. It's a motor.
When I hear Michel Camino on the way back to my
You're gonna listen to some.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
And you know what you mentioned earlier, Horacio El Negro Hernandez?
Oh yeah.
He was playing Michel Camilo trio with, it wasn't Anthony Jackson, it was Charles Flores on contrabass, on double bass, and Horacio on drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I've hung out with Horacio.
My dad
I-
played with Michel Camilo and Chico Rap.
His dad's a bass player.
Bass
yeah?
player. I played with Horacio a few times because actually I was just in Magog today. I went to pick up a brand new car, by the way.
Yes,
Guys.
yes,
Wow.
congratulations.
Very happy. So I had to go pick it up in Magog for whatever reason. So I've played there a few times. There's a drum camp that takes place there. And I was invited. I was the invited
Yeah.
pianist at this drum camp where essentially students get to get master classes with some of the best drummers in the world during the day. This takes place at the Orford Arts Center, which is like this, basically like there's rooms to sleep, and then there's like classrooms and stuff to practice or to give master classes. Horacio Hernandez, Giovanni Hidalgo,
Oh,
the greatest
sweet.
conga player in the world
Ever.
You know, Mike Mangini,
Mangini?
Mangini.
Yeah, my he's
Dream
he has,
Theater.
Yeah, Dream Theater, and he played with Mangini played with Extreme he did 2 albums with Extreme.
Really?
Yeah.
So Mike Mangini, Carl Perazzo, Raul Rical, Santana's guys, Dennis Chambers. So I got to jam with all these guys, you know,
On
and
top of that, my dad grew up
grew up,
Grew
yeah,
up with
Santana.
with Santana.
with Santana. Wow.
They're from the same town.
Like
Oh,
in,
nice.
in Mexico or in San Francisco? Okay, in Mexico.
Wow.
Okay, because I mean Santana lived most of his life in California, I believe, but he grew up in Mexico. Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know. So that was a great dude playing with literally the best
best
percussionists
dude.
and drums in the world. You know, like, and basically we were hired like a piano player, a bass player, a guitar player, and Giovanni saxophone.
Giovanni was playing.
Yeah, and like we were kind of like the house band that we would accompany these drummers, and they would, you know, they would show all the techniques that they had discussed during the master classes during the
That
the
you go
daytime.
home, you go home and you take your sticks, you just throw them out. Yeah, what am I doing here?
Either that or the opposite.
or the opposite. They
Either that or
inspire
the
you
opposite.
to kick your ass
Yeah.
and practice.
Exactly.
Okay. What do you think of when I say the Montreal music scene?
Oh, diverse.
That's a good analogy, man, for
Yeah,
sure.
It's definitely
It's true.
very diverse. I've had the chance because I'm so like I'm soaking in cultures so much.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of people they get like kind of pigeonholed in one thing.
It's true. We
Ar-
have that. We
yeah,
have that
like
benefit in Montreal.
Armenian guys, they just play Armenian music, and you know, like Latin guys might pretty much only play Latin music. Man, I got to play out with the best Armenian musicians, not only in town but in the world. Some of the best salsa singers, and you know, Tony Vega, who used to play with Tito Puente, David Pavon, Charlie Aponte, who's from Gran Combo, Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't even want to forget anybody's names, you know, but like these major artists, John Kelvin from Peru, huge artists, you know. And then I play a lot of Arabic music. I played with some famous singers from Morocco, from Lebanon, and from Syria, and you know, different countries, Algeria also. So I've had the chance to work with a lot of different cultures, and that's definitely something that we're very on est choyé. We're
Wow.
spoiled in that sense. Definitely.
I got the time constraint. We're like, we gotta start cutting it because we have I know it's a podcast. We chat and I love it, but we have because of all the platforms we're on, we have to follow certain
Sure.
time guidelines.
Of course.
So like this will be a quick last one. What's the best live show you've seen?
Arturo Sandoval,
Oh.
or I have it's a tie. Arturo Sandoval. Well, now there's three because I saw Chick Corea a few months ago. No, but Arturo Sandoval was incredible.
Yeah.
Keith
see.
Jarrett,
Oh, nice. Okay.
incredible. I was falling off my seat. You know, we're like, oh my god, and then you expect to go the line to end, and you were like, oh, that was amazing.
Damn it.
But no, you're like, and then like he kicks it into the next gear, and you're like, wow, you're almost like falling on the guy that's sitting in front of you.
Wow.
That was incredible. And more recently, Chick Corea.
Chick Corea.
Yeah,
Sweet.
those
I
are
saw Arturo as well at the Ottawa Jazz Festival.
amazing.
And you know, those are the best concerts. I think I was on the stage, literally. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of make your
course.
way, and then I'm like right next to the
No,
percussionist.
when you're close to greatness,
It's so
man,
fun.
it's contagious.
It's
you know?
it is.
It's contagious. I opened playing with one of the bands that I played with, called Tegu. We were opening at the Olympic Stadium. We were opening for Mark Anthony.
Oh, sweet.
So we crazy, like what, 30,000 people?
Which
It was
I'm going to the next
incredible. Is it soon? Yeah.
It's in December.
Okay. So we played our set, and then we had to get our gear off because our gear was in front of their gear. So we had to take our gear off really quickly, and then Mark Anthony played his show. And I was standing backstage, just like behind it, like I'm not visible to the public really, but I can watch him from behind, from like the three quarters, And Mark Anthony, he's a great singer. His recordings and stuff, they have such great songs, but he has a huge production team behind him. Sergio George and like his producers and his arrangers are incredible. So, man, you put somebody in front of that well-oiled machine. But that when I saw him live, I got it.
Got it.
That's why Mark Anthony is Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
This guy, the energy.
He drives.
And he takes the crowd and he holds them like this, And the only other time that I've seen that kind of like enthrallment with the public is I've seen it a lot with a lot of artists, But being behind Mark Anthony, watching him do it, even though I wasn't playing at the time, and the only other time that I've witnessed something like that is, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest Armenian pop singer of all time. And he's among a pantheon of 3 or 4 of the greats, whatever. His name is Paul Bardatian, and Armenian, but he was in California. I was in LA. He passed away 10 years ago now. And I got the chance to perform with him many, many times in the last, I guess, 10 or so, a little less than 10 years of his career. And like, anytime he would come to like East Coast, like either Montreal, Toronto, Boston, New York, like the East Coast kind of like gigs, East Coast of Canada, United States, he would call me to play guitar with him. And that was an incredible experience every single time.
That is sweet. Guys, I'm going to show you again. Arden Arapyan. This is his CD. Your social media, where can people find you?
You type in my name.
You have a website as well, which is very well done, very beautiful website.
I do have a website. Okay, I hope it's still up because
I saw it.
Yeah? Okay, great, amazing. Yeah, ardenarapyan.com. I have to maintain it more. J'ai 10 000 qualités, mais ça pas Okay. And but like on
Social
Facebook
media,
and stuff,
Google.
I have an artist page. But even my personal page, I prefer if we're not personal friends. Might as well just add my artist page. But even my personal page, dude, I have like 0 privacy settings. Awesome. Anything I put on Facebook, I've just accepted that if it's something that anybody in the world, I don't want them to see it, I just won't put it.
Won't put it,
exactly. Whatever I put, I don't mind if you see it. Or whatever.
And of course, he's got a company called
Art Den,
which
music workshop.
Yeah, it's a music workshop. He teaches kids, right?
Yeah,
you teach kids,
anybody,
adults, of course,
any
piano
age.
and guitar.
Yes.
Guys, Arden, first of all, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. By the way, you mentioned several times that we played together and we met.
Yeah.
And that we played in a band together. We never mentioned the name of the band, and she would
right.
strangle us.
You're right. If
we didn't do
this
that.
Is a shout out to Sandra and the Latin Groove.
Sandra and the Latin Groove.
The reason I didn't mention it because I will have her on the podcast.
Great.
She's gonna have the Sandra and the Latin Groove, so your name will come up again, of course.
Exactly.
Shout out to Sash. I don't know what is going on.
Thank you, Cafe Johnny.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, I wasn't done. I was going to, yes. Yes, I'm going to have Sandra and Latin Groove on here. I'm going to talk to her all night. Your name's going to come up. Maybe at one point I'm going to have a few guys at the band just to
fun.
have a chill and a talk. Guys, this is Sessions with Stef. I love it. Arden Arapyan again. Louis, JGR Studio, Lisa, Luigi, thank you so much. A special thank you, guys. I didn't mention it before. Johnny Cafe. Thank you so much, Johnny. It's amazing to have the coffee's the best. The food, I had the sandwiches. It's great, guys. Come and have a coffee on Saint Zotique in Montreal. Sandwich, yes. Yeah. He's got 3 different types of sandwiches here.
Sandwich.
Oh, come on. Now I'm conscious about it. Sandwich. No, it's really, really awesome place to come and have a coffee, chill, watch a game. We're going to do more podcasts from here. So we're going to be advertising Johnny Cafe here in Montreal on Saint Zotique. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. Sessions with Stef. The next one will be in 2 weeks. Arden, have a good night. Guys, thank you so much. Good evening and good night. Thanks.